themed this event and we call it Let's Ride the Digital Wave Together. So, okay, maybe you ask yourself, why did you think that like that? Because everybody is touched by the digital transformation. All of you, you're working in different industries, and the digital wave is hitting every industry. So we feel it in all our organizations. There are initiatives going on. There's a lot of discussion about transformation, about putting more digital also in our products, in our services, interaction with our customers. So we are only at the start of this digital transformation. And like never before, digital technologies are connecting people, the internet, and the physical world. But that digital wave does not hit every industry with the same intensity. It differs according to the industry where you're operating. So we have the asset-intensive industries like chemicals, oil and gas, mills and mining. These are industries which experience at this time high waves. And their focus on digital transformation lies mainly on business process innovation and improvement and workforce productivity. So what they're doing currently, they are managing small innovation projects that create incremental value. But the real productivity gains of these incremental value creation will lead in future to a structuring of these industries in their competitive landscape. Then we have industries like utilities, where I'm operating in, automotive, we have the public sector, we have services, healthcare, and transportation. They are at the moment experiencing severe waves, meaning for these industries, their digital transformation focus is mainly on getting their cost structure reduced through automation and process innovation. It's in these industries where we will see in the future more machine learning, more IoT. And then we have those which are really fighting the tsunami, where everything is re-questioned due to digital. And these are mainly the industries operating in the, let's say, in the banking, industries which are much more customer driven. Say banking, say the retail, the entertainment, telecommunication, media, all these are really fighting and they need to reinvent themselves to stay again in the game of the digital. Meaning their digital focus is mainly on improving their customer experience, convenience, and of course they need to invent the way they serve customers in future. So having said that, there is a fact. The fact is, and we all think about transformation and everybody thinks, okay, the transformation has a start and an end. This is not the case anymore. Transformation will never finish. We are in times where we can say that digital transformation is a journey without an end. We don't know where we are going, and we will transform continuously. And I think that's very important that everybody realizes that. Change is the only variable which is constant in future. So, fact is also that 9 out of 10 digital transformation projects fail. Oh wow, that's a lot. Why? Because companies are moving out of their comfort zone into unfamiliar territory. So imagine yourself, there may be some people here in the room which like science fictions. Imagine yourself, you're a crew member of the Star Trek Enterprise spaceship, which is mission to explore new worlds. We're exactly in that. We don't know where we're heading, and we don't know what digital really will will do in our organizations, in our industries, and even in our society. So there's a lot of speculations, but nobody has the glass ball, and nobody can tell you where we are heading and how we will use these technologies for the good and also sometimes for the bad. The second reason is that it requires new strategies, new visions, and new skills. And we know that we are in organizations which have a historical background. We are not the Googles, we are not the Amazons. Most of us are coming from companies that are older than 30, 40, 50 years even. And what these companies are sometimes lacking, it's visionary skills on the executive level. But it's exactly these skills that are needed, because it's the executives which needs to play the role as change agents in organizations to lead the digital transformation. The third reason is that most of organizations, let's say, they are applying old methodologies, old tried and tested methodologies to a business world that has fundamentally changed. So here we can say that what used to work, the business models that were successful in the past, they try to apply that to this new digital world, and that does not work. And they really have challenges to set a new direction and to deploy new technologies. And I think we all feel that also in our organizations. And it's not a blame, it's like that. And I think I think this is one of the last main reasons, is that a lot of companies are underestimating the complexity of digital transformation. We also experience that in our organizations, because they're setting too high ambitions, starting several innovative projects in parallel with the same resources that should do that within the organization. And that will ultimately lead to a project collapse and disillusionment. So, these are all bad news. Now, what we can do? How can we progress with the digital transformation in our organizations? But first of all, organizations need to learn from their failures. And they need to stick to what they have decided. There needs to be a vision. Without a vision, there's no road. There's no goal. We don't know where we are going. And it's important that organizations need to create new mindsets. So everybody's talking about now the agile organization. Anna is talking about the intelligent organization. So yes, I think that's quite important. We need to change the way we work. We need to change the way we collaborate. But also we need to change the way how we progress with our innovation. And so, said that, one thing is sure, technology by itself does not yield transformation. Transformation is a people thing. It's people in the organizations which are doing the transformation. Technology is there to support the business. And so, the required skills of the next decade will completely differ from the required skills that worked in these last decades. What organizations need are people that have creativity, that have a high level of creativity, problem solving and lateral thought skills, that are able to understand how to use this technology in the context of the organization. Digital technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, or even IoT, they don't matter. They don't matter unless you can deliver them within the context of a business process. A recent study by SAP, SuccessFactors, and IDC found out that the fundamentals for digital transformation, success lies in the transformation capability of the human resources within the company. And the human resource function in a company, as you know that normally it's an administration, and we experience that, needs to transform itself in order to help the organization to drive forward digital transformation, because they are the only one which can remove the 4 key related barriers to digital transformation. The first one is we do not have sufficient people, as we said, with digital skills. It's a huge problem everywhere. So if we would like to be more digital, we need also to have people in our organizations. And we need to take the people we have, and we need to upskill them. But also we need to recruit from external. And we know how difficult it is. I think Alain also told me, even for SAP, we are lacking people that have the right skills to transform our organizations. The second is knowledge. And you can believe me, not everybody in the organization knows what is really digital transformation. What does that mean? And who can really help us to progress with that? Another fact that we found out in that study is financial incentives. Normally we have systems in our organizations that should incentivize employees to do something. But the current systems in the organization do not incentivize our employees to take risks. And maybe also to fail. Because we are still in a culture of blame and of silos. And this cannot push digital transformation forward. And last but not least, it's our organizational culture, which is hindering also in some ways the digital transformation, because there is a risk aversion of going forward, and there is let's say the element failure is not part of the organizational DNA. And until that is not the case, and people are afraid to go forward, people are afraid that they can fail, people are afraid that they get punished when they do not the thing right away, this is a true hindrance to digital transformation. And as I said, the HR function is unfortunately not the most strategic function, or not recognized as the most strategic function in our organization. And unless it does not become a strategic function, it cannot remove these barriers. So, I come now from a microeconomic level where digital progress is in some way going on to a macroeconomic level. Not latest than in May, so last month, the Ministry of Economy of the Grand Duchy published its data-driven innovation strategy for the development of a trusted and sustainable Luxembourg economy. So what do they mean with that? It's a very interesting paper, and I urge you to read it because you can download it and you can visualize it on their website. They're explaining how they would like the Luxembourg economy become a forerunner, an innovative forerunner in a data-driven economy. So, data-driven innovation means for Luxembourg that they are starting to implement efficient policies and support building infrastructures and systems and develop the required skills in order to drive economic growth. This strategy is based, in fact, around a vision that of a Luxembourg data-driven economy, which is developing and implementing digital technologies like artificial intelligence, coupled with Internet of Things, smart components, networks and systems, high-performance computing. I think they recently announced, and everybody knows that, Luxembourg is a forerunner in the European Union to get the first high-performance computing installed here in Luxembourg. And of course, they set also the focus on big data analytics, everything to make Luxembourg ready for the next decades, to stay competitive in the European Union and also to be a forerunner in different digital fields. So according to the World Economic Forum, change has never been this fast, the pace of change, and in future it will never be this slow again. Change is ultimately leading to a let go of something old, learn new stuff, and for that you need to share experiences, get knowledge, get access to information, get access to expertise which is needed in order to move your organization forward. And that's exactly the mission of the SAP User Group. Just to come back to the strategy, to the data-driven innovation strategy, it focuses mainly on 7 sectors here in Luxembourg. Mainly ICT, we have the ecotech, the health tech, logistics, new space industry, which likes to develop for space mining, and financial services. And the mission of the user group, and I'm very happy now that I see Ms. Amal Chouri, which joined us, and which already mentioned before in my welcome speech, sorry Amal, that you were not yet there. She's the founder of the SAP User Group, and I already explained to you my welcome speech. I'm very happy that you're here with us this evening, and hopefully that at the networking we can have some nice words together, and you can share a little bit your experiences with the other user members. So, and that's exactly why we created the user group in 2006. That is its mission. We federate people, experts from different industries that run SAP to collaborate and to form the voice of the customer, the one voice of the customer towards SAP. We are sharing experiences on implementing projects, but we also drive special interest topics like the fire, where we are now really had a good collaboration with the administration, and in a very short term we could really realize that important topic for all the SAP customers in Luxembourg. If we would not have done that, there were already organizations or companies that had service providers coming into house and trying to implement the fire solution individually for their own organization, which makes no sense, because we are all paying our SAP enterprise support, and it's part of an obligation of SAP to, let's say, help their organizations locally to comply with their legal requirements. And then, of course, we have some very interesting exchanges, which we do also on a regular basis with SAP. We will co-organize with SAP, and I already discussed that with Alain, the next SAP festival, forum, whatever form we will find. We will certainly find a fancy form to attract a lot of people next year. Already last year we had over 400, 500 people in Luxembourg, which is
458.
458. It was a huge success for SAP in Luxembourg, so we try to do that and even top it next year in close collaboration. And what we're also doing, we already visited all the members, meaning we do meetings at FEDIL, but on the other hand, we also go to the members, and we would like to see how did you implement SAP in your organization? What are your challenges? What are the benefits it brings to you? What is the context in which you are operating? I think this is information which is essential for peers to share, and that we all learn and all widen our horizon and our perspectives. It's for the benefit of us all. And we will also in the next months, as SAP now has offices in Luxembourg, we already discuss it, we will be invited, we can organize through the user group also some sessions that can be design thinking, for example, that can be other sessions on demonstrations, on different innovations, explaining topics that are sometimes difficult to understand for customers, or which are maybe not that transparent or misunderstood, so that we can really work in close collaboration with SAP here in Luxembourg to help you as customers grow and understand what's really in the project portfolio, and maybe if there are problems to get rid of them. So the SAP User Group is an exchange platform, and it's evident that it creates value for the Luxembourg SAP user base. So here's a snapshot of our members. And we have here over 26 members, not only from the industry, from the private sector, but we have also a lot of actors of the public sector, which will be part of that data-driven strategy. And it's very important. So public and private sector are here cooperating, exchanging ideas, how we can do things better, how we can run better with SAP. And I think this is important. For those who are not yet member, you are welcome to join the user group. And what I suggest to you is that we should write the digital wave together. And in order to register to become member of the SAP User Group, I invite you to visit our brand new website, which now will be presented to you by David Gillet and by François Guilleux, which will pass you to our new website. Our objective is to become much more visible here and to position ourselves as a reliable partner of all the SAP customers here in Luxembourg to push your requirements towards SAP. Thank you very much.